Yep. That's why we're here, folks. Give him praise. Come on. He's worthy. He's worthy of our praise. Yes, he is. Please be seated. Please. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you for letting me be here. We were joking in the first service. I think it's hard for some people to figure out when I'm joking and when I'm serious. And I understand that. It's just, I've had kind of a wacky year this year for those of you that have followed me along the adventure here. It's been just a year since I took that shot in Syria. Not really able to come back from that like I would like to. It was a .308 round. My bulletproof vest caught it here, but it bent one of the metal plates in the vest, which in turn broke 2 ribs. One of them poked a hole in my lung. That was an ongoing thing, and then it knocked me into some rocks, fractured my skull. So that was my 5th concussion. And when you've had 5, that's, at least from what the doctor said, that's kind of the end of the line. So he said, well, you know, you're going to start losing your short-term memory. I thought, why couldn't it be the long-term? You know, then I could forget some of the idiots that I've worked with over the years. Not the short-term. I need the short-term. But anyways, so that's the kind of year I've had. I was in Afghanistan a couple months ago, and when you get to the Kabul airport, the only Americans that are there are military. So I was kind of the only non-military personnel that was there. And yet, in the midst of it, some pretty good things happened. So for those of you that don't know me, understand when I talk to you today, it's just different. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just different. And sometimes church people do well with that. Sometimes if it doesn't sound like what you're used to, that's sometimes a problem for some folks. You will see things today that will disturb you on the screen. I do not apologize for that because I don't live like you live. Again, we've made different choices. That's all this is. I've made different lifestyle choices. So the challenge on days like today is trying to bring normal people like you. I can't see the cheap seats that well up there, but you all look fairly normal from what I can see. Trying to get normal folks and some of the life I live and bring these 2 very diametrically opposed lifestyles together so that it actually makes sense. And sometimes it does. Some days it doesn't. First service kind of made sense. I think it did. This one, I don't know. It's too early to tell. We'll see. So maybe you should have come to the first one, but we'll see how this one shakes out. All right. But it's been, when you've done this for 50 years, he was just up at the New York base last Friday, celebrating 50 years of ministry. That's good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So when we live in a time when still 1,000 preachers a month quit the ministry in America, that's a lot, guys. I know America's a big country, but still 1,000 a month, that's a lot of people that got discouraged, disappointed. Because if we would line them up and walk them in here today, every one of them would say that God called them. That's how they got into it in the first place. So if the God who created the heavens and the earth, everything else is made in China, but the God who created the heavens and the earth, well, it's just true, and you all know it, that supposedly called you, and then somebody, lied about you? They lied about me. Really? And you're the only one that anybody's ever lied about. Mm-hmm. They stole money. Really? And you're the only one Come on, folks. Come on. There's not a lot of young people in here today. We kind of sorted them out in the first service. So it's mostly kind of us older folks here. So I'm going to treat it like that. Are you okay with that? It's kind of, I told them this morning, I said, I've been waiting all my life to be 70 years old. And now that I'm 70, I am going to milk that sucker for everything I can get out of it. I am going to milk that thing dry in Jesus' name. Because, now when you get older, see, you don't have to care. It's a great thing. When you're young, you try to, but hey, I'm 70. I don't care. I've been kicked out of better places. So, it don't bother me. So, we're going to have a good time today. Y'all ready? A little different day today? You good with that? Everybody good? Cheap seats? You good? Everybody all right? All right? Okay. We're good. I got a couple of things on the back table. Let me just walk you through them real quick. I apologize. We don't have any more of the little bracelets. Man, those things went quick. We have ladies, a couple of gals in the Philippines that live in the garbage dump with their families. And I got them, what they do, they dig through the garbage and they get magazines, paper, they wet it, and they roll it. I wish I could get a close-up of this. Can you do a close-up, Bubba? Is he doing that? Nope, we're not on the screen. The light's on, but, okay. Anyways, yeah, there you go. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there, folks. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. All right. But I have these ladies kind of mold these things and then weave them. And we call it products of purpose. And that's how I give them some money to make these. That supports their family. And then the rest of it goes to the ministry of Metro. I've got one of these left. If anybody, I knew you were going to put your hand up first. There's no price on this. It's whatever you all want to give. Oh, you say thank you. And that's a fair trade. But if you guys are interested in any of that stuff, I'll be out there afterwards. And the books, of course, in the crosshairs, somebody was asking about after the message this morning, do I have those in books? Yeah, the other books, the Teflon Rhino in the crosshairs. That's what these are. I don't write books because I have nothing better to do. If there's something I've picked up over these 50 years that has helped people, that's connected with folks, then that's what we do. Now, I gave you a book in the first service. What? Oh, wait, that was pretty quick. You jumped right on that. There you go. Merry Christmas. You're welcome. So, anybody else want a book? Yep. You can buy them right out there, right after the service. I'll sign your book. We'll hang out for a bit. What time, Pastor, what time do we normally finish with this one? Whenever I'm done. Okay. Well, let's ask this. How long do you guys stay around? Okay. That's really the key question. How long do you stay? I had a guy in Alabama once. I asked him that. He said, man, we flew you all the way here. We want the whole thing. I said, bro. I said, come on. No. He says, really? Long as you want to go? I went 7 hours straight. Didn't even take a bathroom break. So I'm not going to go 7 hours today because I'm already getting a little hungry, which is a good thing for you. So we'll go grab something to eat after. But that the books are there, DVDs. Some of you thought I was joking in the first service. I have a video company that has done 3 installations of DVDs to document where I live, the people I live with. I don't live in Manhattan with the sissies. I live in Brooklyn, okay? Come on, Jesus. Come on. See, I can say that here because most of you are from that area, so you know what I just said. I can't say that in other places, but when you come to Florida, all of you used to live up there. at some point. And now y'all are down here. So I can make New York cracks and do stupid stuff because you know exactly. Because I still live in the Bushwick, Bedford-Stuyvesant section of Brooklyn. And you all know where that is. So this is that. There's 3 installations. This is the most recent. These are R-rated. They carry an R rating. They're unedited. They're uncut because it shows where I live and the people that I live with for these now almost 40 years that I've lived there. Very few people live where I live for 40 years. And I have paid a very high price to live that. And those of you guys that know where that is, you know exactly what I'm talking about, all right? These are not for kids, but if you want to see that side of what we do, we have a few of these left. And then last, the sponsorship. Pastor, thanks again, man. I can't thank you enough. Over the years, I've been coming here a long time. And most of you guys have sponsored some of our kids. If you have not, I would encourage you to stop by the table, take a look. I've got kids from Metro Philippines, from Metro Kenya. These are the kids that we have committed our lives to. Most of you know my personal story. It's not even 10 miles from here, where many years ago, my mother chose to leave me on a street corner. She was an alcoholic. I sat there for 3 days until one very ordinary Christian stopped. I think sometimes in our culture, we have a tendency to put a premium on the gifted, talented television people, the musicians. And you know, there's a place for those people. I get that. But after doing this 50 years, I have learned that most of the time, the people that really make a difference are just ordinary people like you and I. It's the ordinary people. It's ordinary folk that step up. I showed a story of how we took care of one of the kids. I'll show another one in just a minute. But in that 3-day period of time, anyone could have picked me up. Gang member, drug dealer, pedophile. And had that happened, my life, well, we had 217,000 in Sunday school last week. So think about this. Think about this. If this one ordinary Christian had not stopped, I'm going to slow this down because I want you to get the implications of what I'm saying here. If that one man, the ordinary Christian man, had not stopped and set my life. See, he got me some food. He sent me to a Sunday school camp up by Lakeland. That put something into motion that it didn't seem like it was a big deal at the time. But now, all these years later, because of that one man, 217,000 last week heard the gospel. Now, what kind of people? Yeah, you can give God a praise. Mm-hmm. And it's a rare occasion because I tell that story pretty much every week, but it's a rare occasion when I actually get to introduce that man. David, stand up. Stand up, Dave. Yep. Come on. That's the man that picked me up. Yep. Hillary Clinton wrote a book once. The title was It Takes a Village. Great title, just not true. Kind of like Benghazi. Come on, Jesus. Now, I can get political really quick. I'm not going to, because that's not why I'm here, but it doesn't take much. I worked with the U.S. president for a year. I was on an 8-man commission. I worked with George Bush Sr. So I worked in Washington with him. I understand the political system of this country fairly well. So the title, It Takes a Village, great title, just not accurate. It would be nice if the village did it. That's a bonus. But the reality is the village very seldom steps up. But see, it doesn't really take a village. It takes only one man. One man that says, I can't do everything, but I can do something for one kid. It needs somebody to take care of him. So that's what the packets are, guys. We've got kids from Philippines, from Kenya. And if still after all this, if you still wonder if one person can make a difference, Tyler, give me the shot, if you will. I think that little one right there, feeding her face, that's that little Annalisa. She was 8 years old when I found her just outside one of the garbage dumps in the Philippines. I said, little girl, you need to come to Sunday school. And she just went, okay. That was it. No bright lights, no praise and worship, just outside the dump. But I saw something. Yeah. I said, you need to come Sunday school. And what a great kid. Family, just a mess, typical folks that live in that part of the world that are caught up in this living a very non-existent life. It's the only way I can explain it. And she was faithful. Tyler, you got a picture there? Yeah. She was faithful, and after about a year, I thought, I need to get her sponsored. So I took that picture, put it in one of the folders. Like you go, I'll be at the sponsorship table. It's 2 different tables. I'm at this table because this to me is the key to this whole day to day. And I was in Norway preaching Sunday morning, just like this. And I told the story of how I'd found Annalisa. And a lady runs back, almost knocked the table over. She said, Pastor Bill, I want to sponsor Annalisa. Okay, great. She signed up. She was a great sponsor. I mean, you know, there's good sponsors, and then there's like the great sponsors. She was great. Prayed for Annalisa, sent her little notes. Look, do we have a picture of the sponsor? Yeah, that's a sponsor. She flew to the Philippines. She saved her money. Not a wealthy lady. Flew to the Philippines. She sat with Annalisa. And then it was several years later. Annalisa was turning 11. So the sponsor gets this big, bright idea. I'm going to write her a note and ask her what she wants for her birthday. Well, then she sends the note. She goes, oh, no. What if she says she wants to go to Disney World? I can't do it. So Annalisa gets the note, sends a card back. Not yet, guys. Hold on. Don't get ahead of me. Okay? And gets this whole thing going and says, all I want for my birthday is a birthday cake. So the sponsor goes, I can do that. She gets hold of the team. Now you can give me the birthday cake. Yeah. So they made a cake. The Metro staff made the cake, had a little birthday party. But the problem is when you live next to the garbage dump and everybody knows there's cake, it's everybody's birthday. It's my birthday. We had to make 6 cakes because it turned out to be this, I don't know what it turned out to be. It was quite a dramatic thing. So that was when she was 11. And I go every year. I invited folks from the first service. I'll invite you. You want to go with me? Every March. First week in March, I take 50 people. First 50 that sign up, we go. You walk with me. You go. We do Sunday school in the cemetery where the kids live. You have 1,000 squatters that live in the North Cemetery, in the tombs, amongst the remains of dead people. That's how those kids are raised. Kids that live in the dump, go with me. Spend a week, walk it. You want to talk about that? I'll be at the back afterwards. But I was there last March, this year, March. And so, of course, I had to find Annalisa. Give me the next shot there, guys, if you will. Yeah. She's 26 years old now. So, yeah, little change. Yeah. She's graduated from high school, and first of the year, she'll be attending Bible college. She's already in full-time ministry. She teaches Sunday school in the cemetery. And so she goes, Pastor Bill, I need to, and she's still very dramatic. She's very, you could tell, she's that wide-eyed, whatever she's doing, she's rolling. She said, Pastor Bill, I need to introduce you to one of my Sunday school kids. I said, okay, let's go. Got another one, Tyler? What do you got? Yeah. She said, this is Roblin. Roblin's 12. She doesn't get to go to school because she has to clean houses for her family. And Aunt Lisa said, Pastor Bill, I have to sponsor Roblin. I said, okay, I know how much she makes working for us. Okay, and it's not much. I said, Ann, I don't know if you can do that. She said, I have to. I said, why? She said, because if you hadn't have found a sponsor and that sponsor didn't take care of me, she said, I wouldn't have ever done anything with my life. She said, I have to do that to this little girl. She said, I have to. So what you have just seen here is the whole sponsorship process go full circle. I found her. She's teach. Now she's found her. That's how this works, guys. So I need you to understand, when you see those pictures, those aren't stock pictures from National Geographic, okay? These are the kids that we live with, that our team lives with. So, Pastor, again, thank you for letting me share that. And Dave, thank you for starting the whole thing. I love you, my friend. You have no idea. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to talk to you just briefly because I want to make sure we've got enough time to get back, and I want to spend some time at the back table. But I was in, where was I? Dallas. It's in Dallas, Texas. And I had just preached in a leadership conference. And I was at the back table talking with people, signing books and getting kids sponsored and all that. And I had mentioned something in that message about a little boy I had done a funeral for in Brooklyn. He didn't ride the bus that I drive. You guys know I drove the bus there yesterday. Picked up the kids for Sunday school, jumped on the plane, came here to be with you guys. He didn't ride my bus, but I was asked to do the funeral. Little kid, 5 years old. So we work with this Puerto Rican funeral home around the corner from the church. So I got there about 30 minutes before the funeral was supposed to start. And I walked in the funeral parlor, and there's nobody there. Nobody. And even by Brooklyn standards, it's not the norm. So I knew something was up. So I ran upstairs. We do a lot of funerals there, so I know the gal that runs the place. And I went in. She was working on the boy. And I said, what's going on? She goes, you don't know what happened to him, do you? I said, no. Well, apparently, the mother, who was a drug addict, had taken a bat, had beat the kid to death, left him laying dead in the apartment all night. And they had several cats that they hadn't fed. So the cats had been eating the kid's face and hands. And I'm looking at these, what would you call it, Pastor? Like dig marks, gouge marks? I don't know how to explain it. Here and on the right side of the little boy's face. And then she said, we don't even have clothes to bury this kid in. And she said, you have clothes back there? I said, I'll be right back. So I run to the church, get a little pair of pants, a shirt, some shoes, run back, and I'm helping her dress this little dead boy. If you have never had that opportunity, I hope someday you'll have that chance. Because when you do that, folks, when you get close enough to the urgency of life, Pastor heard me say it years ago, when you get close to the pain does what? It changes you. It forces a dynamic in you. It forces you to look at yourself, at the world, your own relationship with the Lord, totally different. All by itself. No secret sauce, all by itself. That's what the pain of the urgency does. Why do you think most of our folks don't want to get around it too much? Because they know what it does. And so do you. We did the funeral because nobody came, but I made up my mind. That little boy deserves a funeral. And we did it. And now I'm in Dallas speaking at this conference. I told that story that I just told you in my session. I'm at the back table, and some lady comes up to me. And I get it. My life is a little, how can we describe it? It's a little overwhelming sometimes for folks. And I understand that. Sometimes it's overwhelming for me, and I live it. And she goes, I don't understand why you live there. You've lived there all these years, and you should move. And I've been stabbed twice, shot twice. No, stabbed 4 times. Shot twice. Thrown off of a building on DeKalb Avenue. 3 plane crashes. Dengue twice, malaria twice, yellow fever, tuberculosis. But I'm good. I'm great. Come on, Jesus. Come on. I'm still here, swinging for the fence. Swinging for the fence. Yeah. And this lady was going on and on. And I was just trying to get kids sponsored. And she's just, and I learned, because, I'm in front of people like all the time, okay? And so if somebody's bothering me, I just kind of walk away because it's just easier, okay? Well, she wasn't having it. She's following me. I walked down this end of the table, and she just, I thought, okay. I thought, well, let's try the other end of the table. So, and she wasn't having it. She just following me. And I thought, come on, man. And she was just kind of getting loud. Well, I saw this old man watching me deal with this woman unsuccessfully. So then this is like right after this meeting. There was like 10,000 people there at this meeting. And the bunch of people at the table, they're wanting to sponsor and get booked. So this old man walks up to this lady. He goes, lady. He does the finger in the face trick, which is kind of cool for an old guy. I like the finger in the face. He goes, lady. He said, you'll never understand what this man does because you don't have a shepherd's heart. So you need to shut up, leave him alone, and just get out of here. Oh, yeah. Well, now everything just goes quiet. It's just quiet. And now the people are walking away. I was just trying to sponsor kids. And then the lady, she got the church offended look. So now she looked like she swallowed a canary, and so she walks off, the old man walks off. Now, I'm at the table alone because nobody wants a piece of that action. And I'm just here, and I'm going, okay. But I got back to the room, and I thought, what just happened right there? We just like had a train wreck at the sponsorship table. The old man said, I had a shepherd's heart. He didn't know me. I don't know him. He heard me preach one time. Something, I don't know exactly, but something connected in that. I don't know if it was the story of the little boy or just my life, because I was never able to talk to him again. But it captivated me. I got back. You guys know I have a PhD from the University of Wales. I teach Old Testament. I love the Old Testament. I really wish I would have lived in the Old Testament times. There you could just kill people and it was okay. It just wasn't that big a deal. I think come on. I could have served God so much better if I could have just killed the idiots and say, yep, be gone. But, I'm stuck in this generation that I'm in, so it is what it is. But I'm digging through everything. I got my Strongs exhausted concordance. I got everything going. I got everything. I'm trying to figure out what this old man picked up that motivated him, that moved him to confront our dear sister at the back table. And I mean, I was looking up everything. Sheep, shepherd, lamb, heart. I mean, I was cross references. I couldn't get it. Nothing made sense. Nothing. And I thought, well, you know what? It's just one of those things that happens when you're in front of people. You know, it just things happen and you just, but I had one more word. I thought, I've come this far. I'm going to look it up. It was over in Amos, the 3rd chapter. And I looked at that. Now, it's a minor prophet book. I'm not a prophet at all, so don't get nervous. There's no prophets in our ministry. It's a non-profit corporation. No prophets. We have Sunday school teachers. We have bus drivers. We have no prophets. So, but I'm reading this vision. Don't miss this. Amos, the old prophet, is seeing something, some vision through the eyes of the Spirit. And I read it, and I thought, is this it? Could this have been what the old man was trying? I don't know. But it affected me, and then it caused me to see this vision that Amos had. And so out of that experience, I want to just show you what I found. And I'm just going to go over it with you quick, and then we'll be done. But in this vision that Amos is seeing through the eyes of the Spirit, it's not a complete exegesis. It's not a complete dialogue. But Amos sees something. I'm going to ask you this. Some of you will get this. Some of you may not. Have you ever sensed that the Lord just dropped something in your spirit and you could just see it? And it was so real that it was like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Amos sees this vision, and there's 3 characters in the vision. It's in Amos chapter 3, verse 12. You can look at it. You can follow along with me. I'm not going to read the whole text. Not very much. But the vision that it represents, what the old prophet saw, I think explains a lot for you and I. So let's take a look at it. A lamb gets caught in the jaws of the lion. Doesn't say how. And again, this is the old prophet is seeing this through his mind's eye, through the Holy Ghost. This lamb gets caught in the jaws of the lion. Doesn't say how the lamb was caught. Doesn't say whose fault it is. But the lamb was caught. And then the shepherd comes into the scene. Now, when you come upon something of urgency, or as Pastor and I go back and forth on pain, when you come across something, what do you see? When that man back there saw me on the street corner in Pinellas Park, he saw something in me that my own mother didn't see. How does that work? How is it that some people, when they see the need, they see the urgency, it is the first observation, and some of you are already ready, taking notes. So there's 3 observations in this vision, and I'm going to give them to you quickly, then I'll get out of your way. But the first thing I noticed is I was trying to see what Amos saw was he sees the lamb, it's caught in the jaws of the lion, and this shepherd obviously just moves. He just moves. I would like to use the word instinct. Have you been around Christians that when they see a need, it's almost an instinct that they just step in? They don't have to think about it. They don't have to go to a conference. They don't even have to read a Joyce Meyer's book. Thank God. But for some Christians, when they see it, it's this reaction. It's an instinct. They just move. Some shepherds are that way. Some shepherds aren't. Interesting, isn't it? Why is it that some folks get it? The need becomes the call. They see the urgency. The thing connects, and it's boom. He got me the food and water. He sent me to the kid. It was within a 5-hour time span. 5 hours. From the meeting on the street corner to me being on my way to this camp. That's a pretty quick turnaround, isn't it? Pretty quick. The shepherd sees the lamb caught in the jaws of the lion. When I went to New York, I didn't have a 10-year plan, folks. I went there by myself. I lived in Davenport, Iowa, before I moved to Brooklyn, New York. Now, you want to talk about culture shock? Iowa. Nobody lives in Iowa. I did. I did 5 years in Iowa. Okay. I showed up with a U-Haul trailer, moved to Brooklyn to start Sunday school. Yeah. That's why sometimes it's better that you don't know the future. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes it's better you just say, Lord, here am I. I present myself, and I'll let tomorrow take care of tomorrow, but I'll do today the best I can. The Bible doesn't say the path of a righteous man is ordered by the Lord. It says the steps of a righteous man are ordered. It's the step. One step. You're not going to know the path. You're not going to know the long-term direction, but it's about the step today. When I got up this morning and came here, I made up my mind, right? These 2 services today is my best. I'm going to give you my best shot today. I'll let tomorrow take care of itself. But when I'm with you guys, I'm giving it my best shot. You okay with that? I know you are. The shepherd just moves. It's an instinct. The Apostle Paul said that the love of Christ constrained him. I preached that here several years ago. It moves, it pushes, it presses. I didn't have a long-term plan, but I knew somebody had to do something. So I went. The shepherd moves, and we see in the vision, as you read it, he grabs a leg of this lamb. He's going to try to do something. What do you do when you come upon a lamb that's caught in the jaws of the lion? Yeah. Now it's showtime. Now it's showtime. See, it's fine to say we love, we care, we want to help, we want to do something nice. But see, once you're there and you're facing the urgency of the moment, now we'll see what's in you. We'll see what you really got. He grabs a leg. He's trying to pull it. Can you see it? Can you visualize what the old prophet's seeing? He's pulling this leg, trying to free the lamb. And obviously, he pulls the leg off. Now watch me. Watch me. Because some of you will think exactly like I used to. Because I was raised classic Pentecostal. I only admit that when it's convenient. But I was raised classic, okay? I lived at the church because my mother never came back. And after the Sunday school camp was over, they let me live at the church. So I've been around church I still live in the church building, okay? I don't know what that says about me, but my life really hasn't changed that much over all these years. So in my mind's eye, see, we think, okay, we've done something. We've tried. We've tried to make a difference. So we do something nice. But see, now he's pulled the leg of the lamb off. The lamb's still caught. And this is where now I think it moves us to the second observation. See, it's one thing for it to be an instinct, to help, to move. But now it didn't go the way he thought it was going to go. He thought he was going to pull and save the lamb. But now, thing's still caught in the jaws of the lion. Have you ever tried to help somebody? Yeah. That's why I hesitated, just so I could get a reaction. Because if you've been around enough, you know you care more about some people than they care for themselves. And you know who hurts you the most? Is the people you've done the most for. Isn't that interesting? Always interesting to me how this works. He's trying to pull the lamb out, but he just pulls the leg off. It was an instinct, but now it goes from the instinct. Watch observation number 2. Now it goes to hopeless. This thing's dying. It's dying right in front of him. We did a funeral a couple weeks ago, a transvestite guy I spent years with trying to win him to the Lord. His body was so full of estrogen hormones, they shot him up with that stuff for years. Here, it's on one of the videos. And finally, it was just too much. His body just shut off. That was, what, three weeks ago. Yeah, I won him to the Lord, but the damage to his body, it was done. You're right. It was what it was. Quite honestly, I'm surprised he lived as long as he lived. You want to talk hopeless? I'm uniquely qualified to talk about that word. I heard it from the moment I landed in Brooklyn. The cops said, these kids are hopeless. Government said, these kids are hopeless. Church said, these kids are hopeless. And I got so mad. I was in a meeting and somebody said hopeless again. I stood up and I slammed my hand on the table. I said, they're not hopeless. They just don't have any hope. Big difference between hopeless and having no hope. Jesus brings the hope. Jesus is the hope giver. It's not hopeless. They just don't have hope. That's why we go. That's why it's my God, it's an instinct. He pulls off the leg, and now it looks hopeless. The thing's still dying. If you work with people, they just say, man, I don't know if these guys are going to make it. You want to talk hopeless? Yeah, I can talk hopeless. Don't wonder why I'm like I am, guys. Most of you know me, so you're not surprised at my life and the shootings and all the stuff that I've seen. Tyler, give me a picture. What do you got? You want to talk hopeless? Do you have a close-up of him? Got a little bit of a, yeah. Yeah, he hadn't eaten for a week, so he's eating dirt. Yeah, he's eating dirt. This is in Kenya. Mm-hmm. Our staff member found him in this field eating dirt, and the first thing she didn't have to go to the Board of Demons to vote, to figure out what to do. Look at me. There was no voting. There was no suggestions. There was no, let's figure this out. She runs to him, picks him up, gets him back to the Metro office, and feeds him. Come on, folks. See, when you're close enough, she picks him up. This is real life today, folks. This is real life. I'm sorry to ruin your Sunday, but this is real life today. Yeah. It was an instinct. He tries to free the lamb, pulls off a leg. Thing's still dying. Now it looks hopeless. Got another one, Tyler? What else you got up there? Oh, yeah. I found him in Indonesia. I don't know if somebody killed him and just threw him in the water, or if he died and somebody just threw him away. I never found out. Yeah, you want to talk hopeless? I can talk hopeless. I told you you were going to see things today that aren't pleasant. See, when I come to Florida, I choose to enter your world. But in this service, I'm bringing you into my world. My world's not your world. You know that now. Take the picture down. And now, the lamb's still caught. See, it's one thing to try to do something nice, to try to help. But now, this thing's dying. He's watching it die. But you can see in the vision, he goes back a second time. This is what captivated me right here. It's hopeless. The thing's still dying. It would appear to be there is no hope. But see, when you've got a shepherd's heart, you can't walk away. Those 1,000 that quit the ministry last month, I guess they missed one thing, didn't they? I guess they missed one thing. Yeah. Because it's always been about the heart, hasn't it? Always has been, always will be. He goes back a second time. He grabs another leg. You can see it in the vision. The old prophet is catching this, and he sees the shepherd grab another leg. He's trying so hard to free the lamb. But in the midst of the fight, he pulls off a second leg. 2 legs gone now. Watch me. Don't miss it. See, it's fine when it was an instinct and he just tried, but then it shifted from instinctive to apparently hopeless. The thing's dying. He's trying so hard, he pulls off a second leg. And now the last observation, and this one will make sense to some of you. See, it's great when it's an instinct. He's still working at it, even when it looks hopeless. But now, once the lion is done with the lamb, guess who the lion's going to turn on? Oh, you get it now, don't you? Lion's going to turn on the shepherd. So if he goes back a third time, now we're talking personal sacrifice. Would you like to talk personal sacrifice? Cricket. It's quiet now, isn't it? I know. I get it, guys. You're looking at 50 years of doing this right here. Tell me something I don't know. You'll be hard-pressed. I delivered a baby in a parking lot last year in Amarillo, Texas. That was one of the dumber things I've done recently. Guy says, "Is there a doctor here?" I looked around. I'm a doctor. Looking back in retrospect, I should have asked, "What kind of doctor do you need?" But we ran over. Wife's having a baby, backseat of his car, in a truck stop in Amarillo. I looked in there. I thought, oh man, my PhD, that ain't doing me much good right now, Bubba. But hey, I'm in it now. See, I think I'm Superman. After you've been shot twice and lived through 3 plane crashes, you pretty much think you can do anything. I just rolled up my sleeves. And have you ever thought you could do something, and then at the last minute, you just blank? Because, I mean, I looked like I was Dr. Kildare. And then I suddenly realized I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, it was all blank, just blank. But hey, I've seen American movies. How hard can this be? It never looks that hard in the movies. And I remember the movie. The doctor was yelling at the pregnant woman. He was going, push, breathe. But that's the formula. I got it. I can do this. So I'm yelling at the pregnant woman, push, breathe. And we got the baby out, and baby was crying. That's a good thing. Mother was crying. I was crying. Everybody was crying. I thought, thank God somebody didn't die. What were you thinking? So that's why I'm working on an MD. I'm getting a medical degree now. So the next time, any pregnant women here today? No? Good. Oh, one. Oh, well, just keep your distance. Okay, just stay safe. Don't. And you know, those kind of stories are funny later. They ain't never funny when you're in the middle of it. They make a funny story later. But now, see, we could sit here and I could just tell stories with you all day of stuff I've seen, stuff I've been around. There's things I couldn't tell you in a mixed audience. And you know what I'm saying. Things that you just can't tell. And now he's looking at this lamb being devoured. So it's at that point that you would think this thing is really hopeless. This is too far gone. And once the lion is done with the lamb, he's going to turn on me because you think life and the urgency What's going to happen if it turns on you? Then what? But see, once you've got a shepherd's heart, where are you going to go? You can't go. See, that's why I will never retire. Retire and go where? Florida? That's where all the other preachers go when they retire. I can almost tell what denomination they are. You know, if they're wearing shorts, they're not Pentecostal. You guys know what I'm saying. Could you see me living here again? No, I can't. This is a great place. It's nice. It's better than shoveling snow. I get that. But see, I don't belong here anymore. There was a time I did, but not anymore. So when you realize that your heart takes you to the places where we're talking personal sacrifice, then you really have to ask what's really in your heart. Okay, all right. Cute little tune. See, what she didn't know is if I was in a bad mood today, I've done it in services, I just snatched their phone. Oh, yeah. No, I can get $100 for a used phone on the street in New York. I snatch your phone in a heartbeat. I will sell that sucker and give the money to put gas in the bus. You don't believe me? You know I'm telling you the truth. It happened a couple months ago. The phone went up about 3 or 4 times, and I was so hot, and it happened right at the front. And he said, "Can you give it back?" No, I ain't giving it back to you. I'm settling down now. Settle down. When you realize it's a personal sacrifice, see, that's what separates the liars from the buyers. But he goes back a third time. You can see it in the vision. It's an instinct. He's trying to fight. He's trying to do something. He pulls off a leg. It looks hopeless, but he's not giving up. It's pushing him. He pulls off a second leg. But now, the lamb's almost done. So if he stays around now, but in a last vain ditch effort, can you visualize it? Can you see what Amos is seeing? He reaches over, the shepherd reaches over and pulls off a piece of the lamb's ear. All right, now let me ask you a question. Knowing the situation now the way you do, you've got the vision in your head. 1 leg gone, 2 leg gone, and now the thing, once the lamb's gone, the lion's going to turn on the shepherd. So if you're going to quit, now's the time to quit. If you're going to walk away, now's the time to walk away. But when it's in your heart, you can't walk away because you can't. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? He reaches over and he pulls off a piece of the lamb's ear. Why? You tell me. You tell me. It was common practice for shepherds to try to save as much of the lamb as they could, the real good ones, the ones that really cared. Why would he put his own life at risk, knowing he couldn't save the lamb, but he's just going to try to pull a piece of an ear? Really? Really? For what purpose? I guess when it's in your heart. Yeah. 2 legs and a piece of an ear. When I was in Syria, give me the picture, Tyler. And I guess this has been the question that people just don't understand about me. That was the camp. I can't tell you exactly where it is because it's still an undisclosed location. I can just tell you it's number 18. That's all I can tell you. They came in, folks would come in on flatbed trucks at the driveway at the bottom, run through security. We'd put them in the 2 white tents, see what they needed. and then put them in the black tents. That black dot above the white tent, that's where I got shot. And people say, you're 70 years old. Why do you do this? Why do you do this? I think the old man in Dallas got it. He didn't know all of it, but he saw something. Give me a picture, Tyler. Yeah. When I got there, it's just anti-personnel mines, anti-tank mines. And once the Israelis, because it's an old Israeli camp, once you're in, that's it. Nobody then goes in or out. You're in there until the army comes in and takes you out again. Give me another one, Ty. I had my vest on. It was 9:30 at night. We had just been through so much with the people, trying to take care of their injuries, working the medical side all day. And I heard a jackal killing an animal, and I'm just looking out the gate. And there was a Russian sniper about 50 yards out. And apparently he thought I'd seen him, and they were too close to Israel. They weren't even supposed to be there. And so he just took the shot. And I had a jacket on over my vest, and that was probably the thing that the Lord used to save my life. Because if he would have seen the bulletproof vest, it would have just been a headshot, and that would have been the end of it. Here, Tyler, give me another one. And so when it was a 308 shell, and they could tell it was a Russian, what the Russians do, they take hacksaws and they cut an X on the head of the bullet, so that when the thing opens up, it just opens like this, and it just goes, it's made to do as much internal damage as you can. Give me another one, Ty. They did the emergency call. The Israeli army came. They did a sweep of the camp. They took the bullet out of the vest, and they did a ballistics check, put part of it next to a half shekel just to show the size. And then they airlifted me by chopper to the hospital in Jerusalem. Then I was taken to another hospital in London. That was a year ago. Yeah. But it was Christmas time. You guys know I got to get Christmas presents. So I'm out preaching. I'm coughing. I couldn't even stand up for more than 15 minutes. I'm coughing up blood. So I got this old bloody rag. And the people on the front row are going. That's just, I mean, it was bad. It was bad. Was there a picture of that newspaper? Yeah, paper picked up on it. And because they asked me, they said, well, you're not going to be able to do Christmas for the kids. I said, yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. We'll figure it out. And this church took a special offering. Churches all over the world took a special offering. Individuals stepped up, and we were able to get every kid in Sunday school last year, in the midst of all this mess, still a gift, and told them the story of Christmas, the story of who Jesus really was. Why? How does all this stuff happen? See, now I get to sit back at night all by myself and think through this. Because when I got hit, I didn't know if that bullet had penetrated the vest. I couldn't tell. I just knew I was laying face down in the desert. You can think a lot of things, can't you? You betcha. A lot of things. And people say, why you still do this? Because see, when it's in your heart, you don't just walk away, do you? No. 2 legs and a piece of veneer. I told a story, Pastor heard me tell him last week. I saw one of the ladies there in Syria at that camp. She was carrying her child. Fell down, dropped the kid. He's crying. She's crying. I grabbed the interpreter. I said, ask her, what's wrong? What? And she was just hysterical. Couldn't tell us. I said, tell her to calm down. If I can help, I'll help. She said, please help my boy. And his hand was all wrapped up, taped up. And she unwrapped it. And in one of the bombing runs that Assad was running, about 20 clicks over the ridge, a piece of shrapnel had cut off the little boy's hand. And she had just wrapped it up. And it was about 3 days. And I said, man, I wish you guys would go with me sometime. And I just looked at that and I said, I can't help him. Why do you think I'm doing the medical degree? You think I need to do this for the heck of it? God's opened these doors for me. Somebody has to go. Somebody's got to go. There ain't nobody else going. And she said, please help. I said, I can't help. And then she reached into a paper bag and pulled out the little boy's hand. She kept his hand. And she's looking at me. She said, please help my boy. I can't. So how come I still do this after all these years? Now you know, the old man in Dallas got it. He got it. He didn't know me, but he got it. Once it's in your heart, it was in that man's heart to pick me up off the street. Once it's in your heart, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to do this until I die. That's what I'm going to do. It's that simple. It's that simple, folks. Because when it's in your heart, you can't walk away. So, Lord, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Lord, because it's always been about the heart of a shepherd that makes the difference. So, Lord, I'm asking you, in the quietness of this moment, that, Lord, we can ask ourselves, is it really an instinct that moves us? And even when it gets hopeless, is it easy to walk away? Even when it looks like it's going to mean a personal sacrifice? And what? The old man said I had a shepherd's heart. I don't know about that. But see, when you actually have that, people around you know it. You don't have to put it on your business card. You don't have to put it on stationery. When you've got that heart, people just know it. I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear, and let it be a sweet, sweet, and let it be Jesus. And let it be a sweet